Hi, beautiful viewers. Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Upclose with Nakato. Today we have the beautiful Cissy Nalumansi Lala. She has turned heads in the film industry with her current project, Namuddu, and of course many more. Hi, Cissy.
Hi, Eva. Good to see you.
How do you venture into film? Where did you start from? What did you study? How do you get involved into film?
My name is Cissy Nalumansi. I am a writer. I'm a director. In the past, I used to do a lot of production work. I remember I edited at some point and I produced. I was a production designer, all the things that I thought I knew. I've tried all of them, but then I realized my passion is much more into directing and writing. So that is what I do right now. And I've worked on a couple of projects. I've worked on Sanyu, which is ongoing. We are in season 2. I've written Mama and Me, which is Dilman's show. We did one entire season. I've done Ensulo, Promises, Kela. I've done Namuddu, which I'll talk about a little bit in depth. I have done this phone era. Some of these projects are a bit in the back. We've done them some years ago. And I currently teach at Victoria University. I teach filmmaking and I also do master classes. I've been making tours with Uganda Communications Commission and MultiChoice Uganda, DSTV, and we've been going in every region of Uganda, teaching people about film. And I am lucky that I was taken as the one and only instructor to talk to people about film. So in a nutshell, that is me. My journey in film has not always started in film. I was very busy at the university studying IT when eventually the passion in me could not, let me rest or stick there. That my mother saw constantly that my energies and my attention was driven into film and watching so many films and dropping out of school on a few occasions to just go and watch films in, those Vibanda local movie halls and all that. So she said, why not just, invest a little bit into what she really loves. So she introduced me to a gentleman called Dan Chigundu. I definitely know you know him. So yeah.
I know you're watching.
Yeah. So I met him and he saw the passion I had for writing and I had some skill meanwhile, though I was a bit of an unconventional writer, but I showed so much progress and showed so much future in writing that he started to hand me down projects and asked me to write them. I wrote a couple. I wrote Don't Dare Touch. I wrote This Fun Era, the Zera, The Kingdom. There are so many that others didn't actually make it to the screen, but that was some of the things. Those are some of the things that I did when I had just started under him. Yes, under Mr. Daniel Chigundu. And before I knew it, I had joined MultiChoice Talent Factory.
You have to talk about the MultiChoice.
Yes.
In fact, before we get into, deeper into the conversation, tell us about your experience at MultiChoice.
Okay. So when I landed in Nairobi, it was on the 6th of October. I met people from Ethiopia, from Kenya, from Uganda that I had gone with, from Tanzania, and it was a sort of a new experience for me. I had never been in that experience, sort of environment, because of the fact that I was an introvert in a way, and I was confined in my spaces. I would close my door back at home and write my scripts with no intervention. And here I was being placed with 20 people, coming from different worlds, and we had to share fridges, we had to share rooms, we had to share food, and it was sort of a fish out of water experience for me, because somehow I had to fit in, and it was hard to fit in with people that you've just met and you had to act like you are in one accord. But apart from that, I got a great opportunity to work on amazing projects. I worked on Coke Studio Africa, which was that last edition. Then I worked on Selena, which was a big show in Kenya. I worked on Pambio, Turn Up. Those are all live shows. And then I got to interact and work with so many great names. I got a chance to meet Elvin Ross, who is in who works with Tyler Perry, and he's their music composer. I worked with a gentleman who works with Dolby Sound, people that actually I didn't think I would ever get a chance to meet.
In fact, I've always wanted to ask.
Yes.
Like, I remember we had a project that
Yes.
of course, your project
Yes.
that I was part of
Yeah.
is the Village Champion.
Yes.
So, if you were to change anything after that experience with the multi-choice, what would you have changed? Because you left and we were done with the shooting.
Yes.
And it was just, we were just waiting for the premiere. What would you have changed? Like, did you come back and were like, okay, I wish I had this opportunity before the Village Champion? What would you have changed in that project?
Okay, truth is, the only thing that I wanted to stick was the story. But everything else, I wanted it to go. Because when I shot Village Champion, I thought I knew what I was doing. But after going and fetching the experience I got from other people, I came back and I realized there was nothing. I had not done the work, like the shots that were used, I could have done better.
Yeah.
I could have done better directing the actors. I wasn't a director, but it is actually from such projects that I realized I needed to direct actors, because I was so
that
fed.
Is when you got the band.
Yes, I was like, this actor could have done better. Why didn't we make this actor do better? They are very good. Why didn't we dig deeper into?
To us who were on set with you guys,
yeah.
Pressure was.
I know.
It was fun, but the pressure was.
I
know.
know.
So we felt okay. She has done. She has given it all her best.
Yes.
But of course, as you know, when you get to greener pastures,
yes.
Can you talk about some of the projects you have worked on?
Okay.
You have the people you have worked with,
yes.
the projects you have worked on, and then of course to Namuddu.
Okay, all right. So when I was in Nigeria, I worked on a production called Teen Cell. The production has been running for 13 years, so I was privileged to just spend some time and share my energies with them. I have worked on Kela, which fortunately has Hollywood executive producers. I don't know if you know Tika Sumpta.
Yes.
So, yes, that lady that acts in Haves and Have-Nots, that Candice lady, so she's my executive producer, and I got a chance to work with so many Hollywood executive producers. Oh, there is a sweetheart called Lolia Etomi. Even up to this moment, she's still pushing Kela. She's like, let's apply here, let's push it in this festival. We need to fly you here. You need to come and just sink in the energy. So she's a darling. I kept telling her that she's a darling, and yeah, she's a blessing. But I met so many people. Kemi Ondo Kotno, who is a Ugandan actor based in Hollywood, and they've been like a sort of energy for me. Among the other projects that I've worked on, there is one that is called Sanyu. Now, Sanyu is on DSTV channel 148, Power Magic Prime. But when we started Sanyu, Uganda had a different understanding of Ugandan content. I remember every time we told Ugandans that we are doing content for Uganda, local content, they would just brush us off and say, in Uganda, they are not interesting to watch. So we were not respected. But when we started working on Sanyu, I write Sanyu, I went to Twitter when it had just come out, and then I just searched for the hashtag Sanyu. And I realized people are passionate. They're like, there is this Ugandan show that is not Ugandan at all, because the production is extremely good. Like, the story is amazing, and people were just going on, and they attracted so many people to watch. You should know, people call me severally complaining, like, why has this character done this? That is how engrossed, that is how engraved they are in the story. And that is just one example of how we are changing the narrative, how people are loving the content. There's that saying that East or West home is the best. And I got to experience it, that even though I watch Netflix and I watch content that is made out there, but I resonate and I relate easier with the content where I feel they are calling my name by an actor has Cissy Nalumansi or even Nakato, or they are eating matoke, food that I know very well, or they are in Kampala where I pass every day. That thing gives you, it's a patriotic feeling that makes you feel like, yes. So when people attribute that to high quality content like Sanyu, like Namuddu, or some of the projects that I've worked on, then somehow we drive in more energies, more Ugandans are watching, and I feel like, yeah, we are elevating, and slowly by slowly we are going exactly where we want to go. About
Namuddu, the project, I want you to really tell us about how did people receive it?
Amazing. Weirdly, that project has gone to spaces I've not gone to. I don't know. It has traveled further than me, and I feel like that is a blessing in a way, because people that I've been looking up to in the film industry watched the project and they kept asking, who did this? You know, because somehow, you know, when people look at you, you're a bit skinny, you're younger, and then
by appearance,
exactly that's the thing we have to destigmatize anyway. But they were asking, who did Namuddu? And they wanted to know. I one day received a feedback from the gentleman that has been acting in Ebony's for a long time. His name is Sam Bagenda. So he watched Sanyu and Namuddu, and he said, who did this, you know, this feature? And somebody who knows me reached out to me the feedback, and they're like, people are loving Namuddu. I haven't watched Namuddu, but I think, and my friends visited me, and you know, our friends don't usually support our hustle, yeah? They would rather like Beyonce's pictures than support your hustle. But when they came to visit me, and I told them, you know what, you guys, because you visited me, you earn a privilege of watching Namuddu firsthand before the premiere and everything. So they sat and they put their phones aside and they were watching, and it is 1 hour 40 minutes film. But after the film, they were like, why is it so short?
Aww.
And I was like, oh, that is a sign that you guys were
1
in.
hour?
Yeah, 1 hour and 40 minutes, and they're asking why it's so short. You need to make a part 2 of this. And that is feedback that feeds my soul. But something you have to know, whereas in other industries, the reward is money, that when you do a job really well and they give you money, you feel satisfied. In the industry here, in the film industry, when people appreciate your craft, that is the best reward. And when you get it from people that you know, that is priceless. It is very priceless.
Yeah, so what kind of image are you trying to paint? Like, what kind of image do you want the world to see when it comes to African content, when it comes to Ugandan content?
So first of all, to our Western people, our friends who are in the West or around the world who think Africa is a country, I want to speak to them. But it is a concept. It is how people have perceived Africa is. They don't know we have those beautiful roads. They don't know we have these beautiful settings, beautiful culture, so many beautiful things. Because the stories told that cross over to the other world are that you're showing people on the streets who are hungry, have not fed, kids who are in the war, and the war in Gulu and all that. So I'm telling stories to change the narrative of how people, to debunk the notion of what people think Africa is. That is one. I'm also trying to import our culture, because we have beautiful culture. If you see the stories that we have told and the ones that we are yet to tell, there is so much depth in them that the world hasn't seen. And I feel like I, as a filmmaker, it is my responsibility, my job. But at the end of the day, I'm also trying to empower women in my stories.
Yeah,
if you've watched some of the films that I've done, if I'm not empowering a guy, I'm empowering a girl, underdog stories. So I've done Kela, which is empowering a girl to heal a leader of a local village in a world where it's an abomination for women to heal. That is the story. Woman, you can do it.
Woman, you can do it.
And then Namuddu. This girl has to fight for her land from her stepmother. I'm telling her, girl, you can do it. She might be big, she might be in control, but you can fight for your father's land, you know. So most of my stories, Sanyu is a story that we are doing, empowering a girl from a local village to come to town and pursue her dream in fashion. And even though there are forces of the city and all this and falling in love and all that happens in telenovelas, but at the end of the day, we are empowering this girl to be just more than her name. So many of the stories that I'm telling or I've gotten a chance to tell or be a part, Ensulo, oh my God, I'd forgotten about Ensulo. We shot that in Nairobi. Ensulo empowers, it is this kingdom that is out of, you know, the city and all. And this princess has to take over the leadership from her father, who is deceased. So we are seeing this girl transition into a lady and into a queen. So all I'm trying to tell our queens in Uganda, in Kenya, in Africa, everywhere else in the world, you can do it, you can fight. There is this notion, and I'm sorry I'm over talking, but there is this notion that we are prepared for marriage. You know, as boys, groomed
into,
for,
you know,
yes, for marriage. Yes, as boys are out playing football, we are washing dishes, we are cleaning the house. Our mothers are preparing us for when we get married. That is beautiful. But is there a chance that we are much more than that? Can we own empires? Can we be CEOs? Can we drive Lamborghinis? Can we be in big cars? Yes, we can. We can do that. And it starts with the stories that we tell or whatever is preached into our heads.
That's true. That like breaking the cycle, of course, begins with us.
Yes, absolutely.
As women,
yes,
we have to empower queens, supporting queens.
Yes.
So do you also feel like the African cinema is being respected right now, currently? Do you feel like it's being respected?
To the world?
Yes.
Okay, to the world, I don't know yet because I have not yet gone to their spaces. But according to what I know is if you respect us, you will respect our culture. And if you respect our culture, then you respect us. The thing is, most of the stories that I've seen out of Africa, Karen, all those stories that they've told about us to the world, they've been shady in a way. So there is this thing about showing that the world is powerful. The West is powerful. So when it comes, then we are all okay. So our culture is a bit primitive. The thing is, if you've not been to the culture, you can't know if it's primitive or not. However, if you come and experience, then you change your narrative, yeah? I used not to eat some foods, and I hated the foods. But after eating the foods, I realized, oh, they might not taste like I am used to, but it doesn't mean they are bad foods. So if the world has to respect our cinema, they have to respect our culture. Because culture defines us. You cannot tell us that what you have is much better than what we have, because these are two different dimensions and we have to appreciate and respect both of them. So up until when I go out there and get a narrative of what they say about our African cinema, I would still think that if they did, they would somehow respect our culture that comes with it. Like how they come to shoot a film here, and they change, no, women shouldn't kneel. We kneel when we are greeting. If you want to appreciate my culture, because cinema is culture. So if you have to appreciate my cinema, then appreciate my culture. Kneeling is part of it. It might be offensive on your side, but it's what defines us. So if
I think it's also reminds me of the bit of kissing.
Yes.
I feel like
it's not our thing.
Sometimes it's not our thing. It's not our thing. Yeah, one day I was out with a friend from one of the countries, the Western world.
Yes.
And they was like, oh, these guys are not so romantic. Like they're not kissing. I was like, no. I mean, we don't prove that we love each other through kissing. That's our culture.
You know how we prove that we love each other other than kisses? We buy gifts. A guy, to show you that he loves you, he will just spend on you. That's our culture. So for our men here who are trying to adopt to the culture where you don't give,
the camera.
Yes, where you don't give, that is not culture. That is not our culture. You kiss me 20 times a day, but I still feel like you haven't done a lot, because I was groomed to say. Yeah, so basically that's just it.
I also want you to talk about the challenges that female filmmakers do face in the film industry, because I feel like they are really playing a huge role, in the development of the Ugandan film industry. What challenges do you think that they are facing, and how can they be helped?
I'm not married, but I know a little bit about how married women who are working in the film industry, the challenges they face. And one of them is trying to bridge the gap between work and managing home. Because according to our society, you are wife material if you take care of your home. That means even if you have 12, 13 hours on set and you have to shoot a film, you still have to come home and manage your house and cook and clean and take care of your husband and the kids and it's a lot. So sometimes with just this one head and only 24 hours in a day, a woman can only do so much. And yet, if you're on set with a guy, he will work so hard on set 12, 13 hours and he will return home to relax. Yet when you return home, you're expected to take care of the home. So that is a very big challenge. We need to debunk the notion that a housewife or a good woman is determined by how much work they do at home, how clean they can clean the house, how they do all these chores at home. Yeah, we need to debunk that notion because it doesn't really comply with the work that we do on set. It's a lot of work. it's a lot of work. You start at 5 or 6 and you have to wrap the day at maybe 10, depends on your budget.